Hey guys, how's it going? It's Carter Jenko here from the Tackle Box, and today I'm going to be doing an in-depth experiment between the Dobyns Swimbait Head and the Dirty Jigs Swimbait Head. Let's get started. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Carter Jenko here from the Tackle Box. So today I'm going to be doing an in-depth hook test and wire strength test on the Dirty Jigs Swimbait Head and the Dobyns Swimbait Head. I figured since A-rig season is right around the corner, you know, that ice is just starting to melt, and A-rig is one of the most productive baits to catch fish in the spring, as well as just throwing a Kitex on a little swimbait head. I figured I'd do a test and see which one performed better. So if you guys haven't watched any of my previous hook experiment videos, I'm going to explain to you guys how I tested these two hooks. It's a totally unbiased experiment and shows real results, which is what I want to do with this hook experiment. I personally have used the Dirty Jigs heads for a long time now, but these Dobyns heads, you know, I got a couple from one of my buddies, and you know, I was a fan of the hook keeper. So the hook keeper it's different from what you're gonna find from other heads on the market. So it doesn't have a wire hook keeper like this. What I don't like about this one, obviously it keeps your baits on there, but most of you guys out there are gonna be throwing a Kitex on this, and it's a super soft plastic. And you know, if you want to take that Kitex off of this bait, maybe switch to another color or switch to a different size, it totally burns the Kitex, and you can super glue it, but it's just pretty annoying, you know, to burn a whole Kitex. Those are, I believe, more than $1 a piece, and you know, personally not a fan of it. What I do like about this head in the keeper is right here, you got a little section where you can add a skirt. So if you guys want to, you know, have like a little weedless swim jig, you know, a swim jig without a weed guard, or you just want to add a skirt on it and give it a little bit more action in the water, you can do that. You know, you can do it with this one as well, but I feel like it's gonna hold it better on this head. And we're gonna take a look at this bait. So right out of the box, just comparing first like the components before I get into the test. So I talked about the hook keeper, and then if we just look at the hook size, so these are both the 1/4 ounce head, and the hook for the Dobyns head is a little bit bigger. You know, the hook size will vary, but I'm going to be comparing the 1/4 ounce versus the 1/4 ounce, since I feel like that's a universal size and a lot of guys use that. But went over the hook keeper, so it's a little bit longer shank for this one, so maybe a little bit better for your bigger Kitex. And then just looking at it, seems to be a little bit heavier wire. So if you guys want a lighter wire, go to Dirty Jigs. Heavier wire, go to the Dobyns head. But looking at the design of the head, you know, it's not really that important when you're throwing it on an A-rig, but if you're throwing it as a single hook swim bait, or you're fishing around different types of cover, it's good to know what the design of this head is going to do. So if you guys throw swim jigs a lot, you know a good swim jig is going to have a design similar to the keel of a bass boat. So it's going to have a tapered bottom so that it can just cut through the water, and you know, it's not moving a lot of water, because you want that bait to be, you don't want that bait to rise in the water column. And the better that bait cuts through the water, the easier it is for that bait to stay down, stay level throughout your whole cast. And if we look at both of these heads, the Dirty Jigs head is very similar to a swim jig head. If you guys look at it from the front, it's sort of similar to the keel of a boat. And then we take a look at this Dobyns jig head here. So it's more of a flat bottom on the head, and this is going to be great for, you know, right when that ice comes out, those fish are a little bit lethargic, as well as in the summer, or anytime those fish are a little bit tougher to catch. You know, this flat bottom head, very similar design to what you would find on a bottom, like a flipping jig, or some kind of jig that you want to keep on the bottom, because you know, the more surface area that is making contact with the bottom and that head is going to give you more feel of the bottom. In my opinion, this is a lot better head design for fishing slow on the bottom and just crawling that bait. with this one, if you were to take a swim jig and fish it on the bottom, what it tends to do a lot is roll over to the side because it's pointed on that bottom. And whereas where you have this flat bottom head, it's going to be much more stable on the bottom, going to stand up and just crawl slowly through the bottom. Perfect for imitating a dying bait fish. You put a big Kitech on the back there. Perfect way to imitate a dying bait fish on the bottom. But let's get into the hook test now. So how I set this hook test up, I have a ladder in my room, and then I put a piece of cardboard attached to the top of it, and I take a 5-gallon bucket, I tie it to the eye of this hook, and then I place the 5-gallon bucket under it, and then I take that hook point and I set it right on top of the cardboard. So that hook point is hanging on top of that cardboard. And then I take a couple buckets of water and I slowly start to pour that water in there. And what I am doing is finding out how much water weight it is taking for that hook point to penetrate all the way through the cardboard. So most of the time when I pour the water in there, at one point you'll just hear it go pop, and that hook point will penetrate all the way through the cardboard, and the barb will be all the way in. Similar to setting the hook on a fish, I'm trying to test how much force it is taking for that hook point to penetrate all the way through. For most experiments, you're going to want to do multiple trials. So for the hook point test on both of these, I did them 3 times each. For the Dirty Jigs, it took 6.6 pounds of water weight for that hook point to penetrate all the way through the cardboard. And then for the Dobyns Swimbait Head, it was super close, almost a tie. It took 6.5 pounds. And this is an average, by the way, of the 3 weights that I took. So Dobyns Swimbait Head did a little bit better there. And then the next test that I did was the wire strength test. So I took these heads, I clamped them onto a vise so that they're sitting perfectly vertical with that vise. And then I took a 550 paracord. It's a very low stretch, thin, strong rope, and I tied it around to the bottom and then attached the 5-gallon bucket under it. And what I did, I added water in there. It does take a fairly good amount of weight for that hook to bend. I was testing how much weight it took for that hook to bend all the way to 90 degrees. It took a pretty good amount of weight, so I added some dumbbells on the bottom of the bucket, and then I added water on top of that. For the Dirty Jigs Head, it took 31 pounds of weight for that hook to bend out to 90 degrees. And then for the Dobyns Swimbait Head, it took 36 pounds for that hook to bend out all the way to 90 degrees. So pretty much the same. Obviously, looking at the test results, the Dobyns Head did do a little bit better, but in my opinion, I would still go with the Dirty Jigs Head if you're looking for something that you want to fish faster, just because of the way that head is designed. But this is definitely a head that you're going to want to check out if you guys are looking to fish a bait slow, crawl it on the bottom, and maybe even put on an A-rig. Both amazing heads, and that is an in-depth comparison between the Dobyns Swimbait Head and the Dirty Jigs Swimbait Head. So that is another episode of the Tackle Box, and thank you guys for watching another video. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.